This matter comes before the court today on the uh, plaintiff, Mr. Bell's motion to enforce a judgment of the mediator. Also included in there is a motion to reopen this case and assess some additional damages. The parties appear today pro se, that is, without counsel. And Mr. Bell, this is your motion. Why don't you tell me as clearly as you can why the fence as it's currently installed? And I did receive a response here by Mr. Miranda that says, hey, I moved the fence and gave 10.5 feet for the driveway. I think it's adequate. Why is that not adequate?
Uh, well, Your Honor, first of all, good morning. This is the motion to enforce the mediation agreement adopted, of course, by the court. The order was required the defendant to move the fence by December 12th, 2025. He did not comply with that, and by him not communicating with the court and did not seek court relief, compliance only began once I filed this motion,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that. Now, I also
Yes.
saw that he put a nail through his finger or something and thought he told you what was going on there. I guess what I will say is that, the 60-day delay, if he explained what was going on, why would that even, I can tell you in a civil case, Mr. Bell, 60 days is the snap of a finger. So I know that may not be the case for you as a landlord, and it may have impacted your um, dealings with your tenants to a much greater degree. But nonetheless, I can tell you in a case like this, uh, 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 it'd be one thing if he didn't say anything at all, but he did say, gee, I put a nail through my finger and I couldn't, I was going to do this myself and couldn't do it. He communicate that to you?
I can't recall that, Your Honor.
Okay.
If he did, I can't recall. I'm not saying he didn't, but I can't recall
I
if he did or
understand.
not.
No, I
Yeah,
think he said he emailed it to you and he had to go to the hospital for this injury or whatever. Okay, so I mean, it wasn't complied with in the time, but he said, oh, in any case, in January after my finger healed, I moved the fence. Did he not move it to where it has to be for the purposes of the agreement?
yeah, that's the issue, Your Honor. It's not wide enough for these cars, for example, an SUV to get through there, and that really affects me. Affects my property. Off-street parking is very essential in the rental business or even a personal home, right? We have single females who have children and etc. For them to park on that street is very detrimental to them. So what I was trying to explain to him, we need to go back, stop that. And my attorney made a great point. Why continue going through this and go back to the historical prescriptive easement, which was been in place for over 30 years? And for him to put a fence down the middle of a shared driveway is not making anybody whole. He's gaining part of the property. We're losing. So for him to put
Yeah, the
something down,
original placement of the
yes,
fence made it so no one could drive on that, right, Mr. Bell?
right, right. We could no one could get through there, right?
Now,
That caused. Go ahead. I'm sorry, yeah.
yeah, well, I guess, and he says he put it to 10.5 feet. Do you agree that he gave you 10.5 feet of space to,
No,
of,
because there's a gas meter sticking out of the house, so you have to make compensation for that. So when you drive in there, you can measure it from the house. You have to measure it from the gas meter.
yeah. So in
And
other
then,
words, 10.5 feet on the ground doesn't
no,
equal 10.5 feet of clearance. And
no,
if it's like my
perfect, Your
gas
Honor.
meter, it seems like it sticks out about 5 feet from the side of my house because
Yes,
that's where the
sir.
gas company put it.
You got it. You're exactly right, Your Honor. That's what's happening. And
And the fence and the gas meter at that point where they pinch together a wide car anyway, so you're driving a little freaking Ford Fiesta,
Prius,
maybe you're going to
yep,
get through, but not a big car.
you're
All right,
absolutely right, Your Honor. You're
let me
perfect.
hear from um, Mr. Miranda. You're going to have to unmute, Mr. Miranda. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Miranda, what's your position on this issue of the fence across from the gas meter that it creates like a pinch point in this driveway that they can't get a full-size car or an SUV type car through? I mean, I know most cars aren't 10.5 feet wide, but most of them are, 8 feet wide or so. And of course, no one likes to, I think about the driveway at the Bagel Beanery. My family loves those freaking bagels from there, but they got the narrowest drive up in history up there off Michigan, and I jam my own little Chevy Cruise through there, and it barely fits. Um, what's going on with that pinch point on the driveway from your
Um,
perspective?
I have to look into it because um when we moved the fence, I didn't measure it from the meter
Yeah,
to
you just measured the width of the drive.
to
Yeah,
the fence. Um, in the obligation mediation number one, it says the I should move it approximately
2 to 3 feet.
2 to 3 feet, which I did move it 2 feet, giving him a total of 10 feet and 7 inches. Um,
And you
accord-
measured that on the actual drive surface, right? On that's where the
I
wheels go.
actually I actually took a picture of it. Um, I um I also sent it to Mr. Bell on his cell phone.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't know how much the gas meter sticking out. That I have to measure it. I know he does have a 10 feet and 7 inches right now. When I initially talked to Mr. Dennis Belt, he wanted me to move my whole fence uh, throughout my whole property instead of just the driveway. Um, and
Yeah,
if,
and you don't want to do that, but you're willing to move it, in
if the
two or
gas
three
meter
feet.
is in the way, I am willing to move it. But again, when I look up like how much a driveway should measure, it says a comfortable driveway to drive through, it should measure at least 10 feet, and he has 10 and 7 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet, 10.5 feet. You believe there's a drive surface. Of course, like most things, it probably doesn't count in, the gas meter, which apparently, the good people at, Detroit DTE, I got a personal reference point for this because mine was off the side of my house. I could kind of hide it. And then, last summer they come in and they put a new one in. The damn thing sticks out 3 feet in the front of my house. It looks
Right.
terrible, of course, and I asked them, I said, do I get any choice in the matter? And they're like, nope, just where we
Nope.
put it. And I'm sure they're probably, in a legal sense, correct about that because, we give an easement for gas and their meters and stuff like that, so they can get that stuff in there. Well, here's what I'm going to do for purposes of today's hearing is, do you think you can, since everyone seems to agree that 10.5 feet's enough width for the driveway, but it has to be 10.5 feet from where the gas meter sticks out. Can you adjust? And you're going to have to answer this for me. I guess this is mainly to you, Mr. Miranda. Can you adjust the fence at that point without moving the whole fence, or does it mean moving the whole fence?
I can do it without moving the whole fence, because definitely that'll if that is the problem, I can most definitely do that. It is in part it is in part my fault for not taking in the gas meter in consideration. But again, when I talked to Mr. Bell, he was he 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 wanted me to move the whole fence. I cannot move my whole fence for a driveway. I mean, through my whole lot, because then it won't be a
Yeah, yeah. Let me
driveway.
let me
Yeah,
bounce back and ask the question to Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell, if the adjustments made of the portion of the fence that's across from the gas meter, is that going to fix this problem, or does the whole fence have to move in your estimation?
Your Honor, to be honest, the fence really, just give me 1 second on this. the fence really should not been constructed. You
Well,
know,
I
mean,
get
it's,
that, but he's
yeah,
got
you
the
know what I'm
fence
saying?
and yeah,
Yeah, and therefore it has caused me nothing but damages. I
nothing but
couldn't
a
raise,
headache from
yes, I
the
couldn't
get-go.
raise the rent. The tenants are complaining. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been a nightmare for me. And you know
yeah,
what? If we go back to the original prescriptive historical easement, then that problem is solved. And that's what I told him. I said, listen,
well,
why
but
you
that
want to
would,
go?
yeah, I
Yes,
don't
it's
want to,
over.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
because
want to
then
bar him
therefore,
from the fence, and it seems like the judge wanted the fence in the first place, or was going to have the fence, but just adjust it to
yeah, but
allow the
you ought to,
vehicle through, which is your interest here. And I guess the question is, if he adjusts it in the area across from the meter, is it a situation, because this is kind of my understanding, and of course I've never seen a photograph or been to this property, but this is an area where vehicles use it's like a roadway. They use it to access your property. It's not like they're parking there or anything else. Can they adjust their use of the driveway if he moves the fence across from the meter so that they can continue to access the property over that?
well, here's the issue I have, Your Honor. Once you get past, now you got to be able to access. Here's the issue I have, and maybe you can help me with this. My understanding is the court is to make everybody whole, right? Not to give anybody an advantage one way or the other. I don't get an advantage. He doesn't get an advantage. By not going back to the original prescriptive easement, he's gaining property. I'm not. I'm losing property by giving him that. If that
Yeah.
permitted, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's
well,
not
you're
fair
kind
to
of the
me. Yeah.
trouble here is, and it, because the mediation cut off the determination on the prescriptive easement, you don't really have a legal ruling on the prescriptive easement. What you've got is a mediation judgment that says, yeah, we're going to keep the status quo. And the status quo, it's actually the status quo antebellum. That is the status quo before the battle started. That is, you could historically, your tenants could use a drive access area to get in and out of the property. And then, Mr. Miranda decides at some point he's going to construct a fence and plops it in the middle of that drive access. And then
Right.
you don't have any access. And of course, your tenants are up in arms, as you would expect. And so what you want to get back to is a point where they can at least utilize that drive area for access. That's like I say, I'm hampered here. I haven't ever seen the property. I can kind of put in my mind, and I think, well, yeah, if
Right.
I was driving my Escalade in there, I wouldn't want to be scraping up against the
No,
gas
you're
meter.
right. You're absolutely, and that's exactly what's going to happen, Your Honor. So you know, I really feel bad that we have to give up some of our property because he didn't do his due diligence in putting up a fence, right? I mean, this is what we call a spite fence. There was no reason to put the fence up on the middle of the shared driveway. I mean, that to me, Your Honor, that is truly a spite fence. And you know yourself, courts have ruled against a spite fence. They're awarded damages and everything else. So
Well,
with this, go ahead, Your
a
Honor.
spite fence is different in every situation, is what I've learned
True,
sitting in this
true.
job. So sometimes I've let the spite fences stand. So it
Right.
just depends on whose property they're on and the
I got
underlying
you.
ground.
I got you. So, Your Honor, I hate to give up some of my property to him because he didn't do due diligence. He putting up a fence. That really bothers me, because
Yeah,
I would
well, but
never have
that's
done.
really an argument against the whole case in the first
Yeah,
place. I mean,
yeah.
the mediator, when they decided this, I did notice it was a retired judge, which gives me
Yes.
some inspiration here that maybe I got a career after
No,
I
you
take
do.
off the rope. So, but anyway, but that
You
she
do.
said, the fence is going to stay, but we're going to give enough clearance for a driveway. It
Okay.
sounds to me like if we got that fence 10.5 feet from the uh, furthest
Meter.
extension point of the water meter, you could get a car pass there or the gas meter.
Okay. All right. Hey, Your Honor, if that's, I mean, you're in charge of this or whatever you say, but by him not having it at time, I did lose money on that. I had to sign a lease
Yeah,
that
your tenants are
caused me.
saying I still can't get a
Yes,
car through there.
that's
Yeah,
right. And they wouldn't. And I couldn't raise the price, right? So we lost money on it. We really did.
yeah.
So I had to go back with that old price because he didn't move the fence till January. That really hurt me. And we've been battling this for 4 years. dealing with that off-street parking. We've been battling, Your Honor, and we have suffered drastically on that. So what I'm saying is, if you feel that, that's what we should do with the meter, I'm down for that. I'm not gonna argue with that. But we got to make sure that they can use it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, no,
That's the number.
I
Yes, that's
wholeheartedly
important.
agree that,
Yes,
right, you got to get
because
your
that hurts.
benefit out of the deal.
Yes, it hurts the property value and everything else, man.
Well,
It
and
really
as to the
does.
money,
Yeah.
who did you hire originally as an attorney on this thing, Mr. Bell?
We were dealing with not Barnum, but man, what's his name? I don't have it offhand, Your Honor. But we belong to prepaid and stuff. They gave me
Yep.
some great advice. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we were dealing with. And then
And I can tell you right off the top of my
they
head,
were
because I
spot on.
did this for 20 years, that advice
Yes,
probably cost you a minimum of $350 an hour or more, plus
yes,
time in court. So all I
you're
can
right.
tell you about your loss of $3,600 is if you'd proceeded with this case in the courtroom, you'd have been through 10 times that in legal
True.
fees, and that's
True.
why
Oh, you're right.
settlements
You're correct. You're correct.
settlements
No,
make
no, you're correct.
imminent
No,
sense
you're
for
correct.
both sides in
Yes,
this case. Well.
you're right.
So I guess what I'm hearing from you, Mr. Bell, is if that fence gets adjusted at the point where it's the pinch point there by the gas meter to 10.5 feet from the edge of the gas meter, that'll let a vehicle through. And
We have to
though
do
you're
that.
not
Yes.
perfectly happy with it, that would at least work for the purposes of getting this thing done.
We got to be able to make sure that that car can get through, Your Honor. That's all. So what, Your Honor, let me ask you this. Should we make sure that we take a car over there to make sure? Because
Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
that's probably the way
I
to
think
do
you're
it
right.
is,
I think you're right.
let's have, and I'm going to go back to Mr. Miranda here and I'm going to ask him how long it's going to take him. And then probably, at some point when the fence is, being moved, right, you want to get a vehicle through there and say, and obviously you're not moving dump trucks or,
Right.
semi trailers through there. These are, your biggest passenger car. Probably something
Yes.
like an Escalade it has to get through there.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Absolutely. We got,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
got to
Your
make
Honor.
sure it fits. And I'd say,
Absolutely.
just off the
Brilliant.
top of my head, I don't know the width of cars, but I'd say 10.5 feet. It can't go much narrower than that, or you're going to start pinching on those bigger cars. So, how
Right.
long, Mr. Miranda, do you think it would take you to get that portion of the fence moved?
How long?
Yeah, from today's date. If I said 30 days, is that doable? I know I'm looking
Yeah,
outside. It's not.
that's definitely doable.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do
And it's
that then. What I will do then is I will draft an order. It will say within 30 days of today's date, the fence is to be moved to permit, minimum width of 10.5 feet
from the meter.
from the meter to allow passage of a vehicle. When you're doing that, if Mr. Bell brings a vehicle down there and
Yes.
makes sure it can get through,
Yes.
can you let him know when you're performing the movement of the fence, Mr. Miranda?
I will send him a text message. I'll send him a picture of the measurements as well, and I'll drive a car through and
Perfect.
No, let me
and I'll send him
let
to.
me be there.
I'll
I'll
send
be
Yeah.
there.
I'll
Yeah.
send
If you
him
just
the-
tell him before you're going to actually
And I'll bring
finalize
my
that,
car.
because what I'm trying to
That's
avoid
right.
here is moving that fence another time. So, I'd like you both to be able to get, a confirmation that, and of course, like I say, I had a lot of road and access cases and they're all different. And, kind of, you got to have it wide enough, not just at the 3 foot width of the meter, but so the car can
Right.
kind of adjust and swing around it.
So you can open the door. Is that fair, Your Honor? So I can open the door?
Well, is
Yeah.
that at a point where the meter is? Is that also at a point where they park and unload the car?
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
have a picture of it.
Absolutely.
I can show it to
Absolutely.
you.
Because they'll pull up off the street, they'll park there, they'll unload, and they'll go upstairs and et cetera. You're right, Your Honor. That's exactly.
Can you share that screen with me, Mr. Miranda? You have the picture?
Yeah, I have the picture. I can show it to you.
On the Zoom here, like we're doing today?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're way ahead of me on technology, Mr. Miranda. I couldn't do that to save my soul.
No, it's just honestly dealing with different matters. It's always a good idea to take pictures of everything and record things as much as possible, and that's why I have text messages over here from Mr. Belt.
Your Honor, doing with the fence, now, Your Honor, we'll get the damages that we suffered, Your Honor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
What,
here's what my
we got to
thinking
do
is.
something with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. However,
Yeah.
you got to recognize that Mr. Miranda here in going out and spending his time and labor and moving this fence, is also incurring expense and cost in the matter. My inclination is I couldn't, if I was to award any financial damages since the original mediator didn't do it, I couldn't do that without fully vacating the original mediator's finding here. So what I'm trying to do is hold up the mediator's finding and make an adjustment or clarification within that finding that allows us to, keep this case closed, because that's in everyone's interest, I think. Because if we reopen, we're going to go down the legal route, and you're going to go down the rate of fees. So my inclination would not to be award damages. I just want to get that fence moved within a reasonable time so that when that lease comes up, at least again next year, your tenants can't say, hey, I still can't get through there, but now you got at least that answer to bring them that, hey, I did the background work, so now you can drive in and out, and I'm justified in charging you the proper rent for the place. So
Okay, hey, Your Honor, how with that fence, do you want it? Because at the end of the fence goes to the end of the building, then it extends. We're talking about moving that thing all the way over along because the building is the only obstruction. Is that
yeah,
what
why
you're
don't you
saying?
show me the
Yeah.
photograph, Mr.
I'll
Miranda?
show you the pictures. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
Can you project?
if I
Can you
move
share
the
it
whole,
on the screen?
sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Boy, I wish I could see that, but I thought maybe you could share your iPhone screen with
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Here's what I'm going to put in is I do now. So you're telling me, Mr. Bell, it's at a point where because in my head they were just driving past the meter, but you're
Right.
telling me no, they might have to park
All the way
adjacent to the
out.
meter and open a car door.
Yes, there you go. That's it. That would, Your Honor. Now I'm down. I agree with that. If we put it in there, we got to make sure we can open that car door. Absolutely right. Because if you're doing that, you can unload your kids, you can unload groceries, and you can take it right upstairs. I don't have a
Okay.
problem. Now at if you go any further, that's fine because it's open space behind the house.
Yeah, I mean,
So
this is kind of a way they
yes.
access some
There you go,
additional
Your Honor.
space.
You got
Yeah.
it. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I'm down
Well,
with
and
that, Your Honor.
opening the door does add, a couple of feet for sure to the width
Yes.
by there.
Yes.
So is 10 and a half feet?
I don't know, Your Honor. That's why you made a
That's
great
why it'd be nice
suggestion.
to
There
test
you
it
go.
out.
That's perfect. I don't think you can argue with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
If you're actually over there with the car and you open the door, now you got it. There it is. That would be the true measurement of getting in and out of the car, and that's what's happening. That's it. But then
All
as you
right.
go past the building, he can leave the fence there. That's fine. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's not what we're complaining about. But my
Dutch,
tenants got to be able to get in and get out and open the door. They got kids and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
All right. Let me
Thank
hear
you.
from Mr. Miranda on the door opening issue.
Judge, we're talking about a shared driveway. They supposed to be able to use it, and I supposed to be able to use it. The driveway, the house is kind of like in between the driveway.
Yeah.
Past,
Yep.
past the house, he has open space. He has
Well, that's what we just said. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he has
what
open
we just said.
space. The only issue is within the house. Um, 10 and a half, I agree. Moving it more than 10 and a half, I disagree because then, it's just it.
Well, that's why we say go back to the original prescriptive easement if you disagree. I mean,
Well, yeah,
you
but
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
the fence is new,
the thing
right?
is,
Yeah.
the thing is, if his allegation is basically the driveway, not my whole property, my whole
But
property.
But
You
it's
know,
not your
I
property. That's the issue. It's not your
Well,
property.
yeah, we
That's
never
the issue.
decided. I mean, I can say
Yeah.
that, right. That
oh
was
That's
the end state of the
here's
mediation is we left the
here's
easement as it was.
here's the
yes.
deal. Here's the deal. If I move my whole fence, then the whole thing becomes a shared driveway. Where are they going to park his vehicles if it's a shared driveway?
Well, I think
On my
he's
lot.
saying that
Yeah.
sometimes they may bring their vehicle in and they would, once they reach the house, I assume, of course, the gas meter's attached to the house,
Yes, sir.
that they might stop, beside the house and open their doors and they don't want to hit the gas meter. And 10.5 feet might be not, even if you go 10.5 feet from the gas meter, might
But
not be far enough to
here's
open a
here,
door. Is
here
that?
here's the deal. His house is sideways. It's not straight. It's sideways. So in some points it has more than 10.5.
Sure. Yeah, but right, he doesn't know where his tenant's going to park at any given time, and of course they don't
Yeah.
want to be banging up against the meter.
Fence or the meter. Right.
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 You
Right.
don't want to have a point that you might unload kids or groceries or whatever, and oh shit, my back door hit the
Hit
gas
the
meter, and I got to
yes,
go in and
there's a
pay
problem.
Cadillac $5,000 to fix the damn thing.
That's right. Totally agree. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I was gonna say 10.5 feet from the meter. If we go even a little further from the meter there, what if we said 12 feet from the meter
I
edge? That
think
would
that's
seem
adequate.
like to me it would give some door opening space.
Sure would. Sure would. I agree with that, John. I'm down with that. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah.
Is that something you could do is move it, at the measured from the furthest point of the meter out 12 feet to the first where the fence starts, Mr. Miranda?
So I have to move the fence from the fence where the fence start up. Um,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out here. Does this mean
yeah,
you have to move the whole fence or just a part of the fence?
it's really hot. Um, from where it starts up to the end of the house, is that where I supposed to move it?
Yes, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
I
exactly
mean,
what he
that
said.
would be
Yeah.
if this is a straight fence, that would be the most logical thing to do, would
Most
be to
logical
move it
thing to
out.
do.
I
From
guess we
from
would,
where that to make it clear from where the fence start up to where the end of his house is.
Yes.
yeah, as measured,
That's,
12 feet from the edge of that gas meter.
that's right. There it is.
Okay.
That's fair enough. Yeah. So you don't
Um,
have to move the whole fence. He's saying you move the portion where the cars, because at the end of the house, it's all open space. Then that's not an issue. The issue is like judge is saying is when you pull in, we
but
can't be scraping or damaging the house or your
but
fence.
but I mean, I can move it an additional feet to make it 11 because that was the original mediation agreement.
Right, was you were going to move it 2 or 3 feet.
Correct. I only move it 2 feet. I can move it an extra feet, you know,
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
and I guess here's my question.
and that's gonna give him 11.7.
Yeah, you
I
think
can
that
do
would be
that.
11 feet 7 inches?
Yeah,
Oh, that
I
would be
can
the
do that.
total width.
Yeah, because that was the original. In the obligation, it says that I should move it 2 to 3 feet. I only move it 2 feet.
Yeah, and then you could go an extra foot there.
If
That's
that
kind of what we're
if that's,
doing here.
I mean that's fair enough for
But
me. You
no, it's
know,
not. It's not fair what the judge is saying. We have to make this adequate for the people. You know, by you jumping the gun. Excuse me, I'm not trying to downgrade you or nothing, but you not doing the adequate homework. You just put it down because you got a survey. So the reason that we're going through all of this was through your behavior, not through mine. You're the one who created this issue. If we had left the prescriptive easement the way it was, you wouldn't have to go through this. Neither would I. So to try to correct it and immediately, because I'm giving up property to you, I'm losing on this deal. So for me to try to get adequate use of the driveway for my tenants, and also when I get ready to sell, is very important to me. Maybe not to you because it's a vacant lot, But if they don't have adequate off-street parking, that decreases the value of my property, without a doubt. So we're not trying to take advantage of anybody. I'm not trying to win. I've already lost because you've already said we can't go back to the prescriptive easement. It's over. So I'm giving up property because you put a fence down. Only thing I'm asking is to make sure that this is a functional driveway for the tenants and for the people who might buy the house. Right now, it's not.
And
That's
I guess
it.
here's
I'm
the
losing.
question that I see is if we stay, if we stay within that 3 feet, it sounds like that means we're going to push that fence back through from start to finish an extra foot. That'll give 11 and a half feet. And we'll measure that from the furthest edge of the gas meter rather than measuring it on the roadway on the ground, but rather from the gas meter. Would 11 and a half feet from the edge of the gas meter be adequate for the tenant's uses?
John, I think you solved it. You said, bring the car over there, right? It might even be less. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is to bring the car over there, open the door, and go from there. There cannot be any better measurement than that.
Okay.
Now that's the best way to do it. Now we're not trying to take advantage of anybody.
Yeah. And you're just saying one door on one side so it doesn't hit
what you just said beginning.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because here's what I
yes,
what I foresee happening, of course, is
that's the best answer.
You bring over that Hummer and open both doors on both sides. Well, that damn thing could be 16 feet wide or something. I don't want to get into that.
I would say the passengers. We can say the driver's side, We can say the driver's side. Yeah,
driver's side door adequate to open at the narrowest point.
There you go.
All right,
that's perfect.
What I will do then is what I'm going to do is I'll reset this motion 30 days from current. During that time, I would like Mr. Miranda said he can move the fence. I would like it moved a minimum of 1 foot further.
Okay.
And I want it to be, the test is, can you get the vehicle and Mr. Miranda can check it with his vehicles as well.
Yes.
Get a vehicle, and we'll say up to an SUV size vehicle in there.
I love that.
And open the driver's side door adjacent to the meter. That's going to be the test, as it were.
There it is. You can't get any better than that. That's fair enough. Even though we're losing profit, that's fair enough for me.
All right. I'll issue an order that says that, and I'll reset a hearing in 30 days to confirm that that's done and see if we need to hash out any details. I think there was you also raised the question, Mr. Bell, about the ugly side of the privacy fence or whatever it might be. Is it put in
the city
wrong way?
The city made him fix it.
So that's been changed.
Yes, been changed. Yeah.
So you got the flat side facing you now.
Yes. They made him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Well, keep that the way it is then, and we'll just adjust the width of it by a minimum of 1 foot or wide enough to allow one door to open adjacent to that meter. And
that's
then
beautiful.
I think we'll get this thing done. Like I said, I will send out an order and I'll have it done within 30 days of the day of the order. So it'll wind up giving you a little over a month to do this, recognizing the weather's not ideal fence moving weather out there right now. And does that seem doable to you too, Mr. Miranda?
It is doable. The only thing that I want to make clear for sure is if I move it 1 feet, do I be in compliance or what's going to happen?
Well, the check is going to be if you move it 1 foot further than it's currently set
at the meter.
At the meter, can a vehicle go and stop adjacent to that meter and open one of its doors?
There it is.
And we'll say open it all the way, out to allow, a kid seat or groceries.
And that's going to be based on what kind of vehicle?
SUV.
Yeah, let's say the largest passenger vehicle, let's say a Chevy Suburban, a Denali.
Yeah, right. And I can go there before you start moving it.
What happened if I move it 1 feet and
And it hits the door?
It's still not. It's still
Still
not.
not enough.
That's why call me. Yeah, call me so I can come over there. That's right, Your Honor. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can come over there and we can look at it because I'm not here to hurt anybody. Jesus, it's not about that. It's about being access for my tenants and if I sell the house down the road. You know, so I want you to get that out of your head. That's not why we're here. You know, because
Yeah.
that
Well,
off-street
and I
parking.
think the key is, and what I'm hearing,
Yes.
and I do think this is important and why I'm going to reset this so I can hear it again
Yes.
in 30 days is what we're trying to avoid, Mr. Miranda, is you going out there saying, okay, I'm going to comply with the letter of the law, move it exactly 12 inches. And
Yes.
then it turns out that's still not enough space as measured from the edge of that gas meter, and then we're back
Right.
here in a month and we're saying now I got to now move it another foot. I want to avoid that. I want to give
Well, that's
adequate clearance at the point of the gas meter.
well. Here's the deal. That's why we went through the agreement and the obligation, and he made it clear. I don't know why he didn't brought it in before.
Well, here's
Before
the problem
before
as
that
I see it.
mediation agreement.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
say because I've sat as I have mediated cases before, and we always say, well, it's always gets down to the details, and the mediator did say that it had to be moved 2 or 3 feet, but they didn't
Correct.
say 2 or 3 feet is measured at the surface of the driveway or from the gas meter. I'm saying let's try it, maximum width across from the gas meter, use that as our measurement. And set the fence there and see if that's going to be adequate for, the use of the tenants of the house. And that
Right.
tenant, that's going to be evaluated by can the tenants stop a vehicle there and open a door fully without hitting the gas meter, or the fence on the other side.
Or the fence. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If they come up close to the gas meter and then the driver wants to get out, they're not trapped in by the fence. Does that seem understandable?
Yes, it does.
It's understandable.
It definitely is. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Let's have
Makes
that
sense.
done within 30 days. And it would be very helpful, Mr. Miranda, if when you're moving the fence in
Call me.
advance of that, and I'll put this in the order that you inform Mr. Bell and that he
Yes.
be able to come over before you set the fence in its new spot and confirm that that's going to be enough width so we're not moving that fence a third time.
That's right.
Correct.
There you go, Jan.
Correct.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Very good. I'll send
I'll
out
do
an
that.
order.
And once we comply, can we please dismiss this case with prejudice?
That will be my intention is once I've assured compliance after the final hearing, then I will dismiss with prejudice. I don't anticipate, like I said, I know you'd like some money out of it, Mr. Bell, but that's not going to happen because I'd have to reinvade
I sure
that.
do.
And right. And again, you're going to have to move. I'm requiring Mr.
Another
Miranda
case,
to move the
yeah.
fence, and that's going to cost
Okay.
him at least some time and possibly some money too. So
Okay.
we're just going
All
to
right,
call
Your Honor.
the money piece of it a wash at that point.
Oh, okay, Your Honor. I appreciate that. I'm ready to get this done. I really thank you,
No, I
sir.
understand, right? And
Yeah. Good.
one thing is different from business owners and homeowners is the law
Yes.
is, nothing for a legal case to go 3, 4, 5 years. Of course,
Yes.
1-year rental contracts and 6-year rental contracts, and you're trying to maintain a house. That's a long time to wait. So
Yes, sir.
that's
Yes,
another
sir.
advantage you get out of settling, at a mediation is
Yeah.
it's way faster. So that's what I'm trying to honor here too. So,
Thank you.
all
Your
right.
Honor.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate
Okay,
your
thank you, sir.
cooperation. I'll send out an order.
Thank
Judge,
you,
the
sir.
next hearing will be March 6th
Bye-bye.
at 9:45 on Zoom.
Thank
Okay.
you.
March 6th, you got it?
March
Okay.
6th, 9:45. I'll confirm that we did what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Thank you, sir. All right,
Thank
then.
you all.
Bye. Bye.